Hi everyone, this workout segment is all about high intensity strength training. Now we'll be using our suspension cables to do one of the exercises, and then we're going to do the other exercise with a weight plate. Make sure you've got one of each at your disposal to get through this workout. Now it's going to be a pretty tough workout. We're going to combine two exercises and then we're going to go for 3 repeats before we actually stop and rest. We hope you guys enjoy this workout. A quadriceps and glutes superset for this one, guys. So we're working some suspended squats with the cables, and we're working some Zercher squats with the weight plate. So starting with your suspended squats, just throw your weight back a little bit. Make sure your feet are relatively well parallel and there's no movement in the arms, so there's no rowing action with the arms. So we're going to drop all the way down and pick it all the way back up, engaging your glutes on your way up. Going on to your Zercher squats with your weight plate, you just want to make sure that the plate is nice and tied up against your chest. Make sure you're at a comfortable width as far as your feet are concerned. And then you want to drop all the way down until your elbows touch your thighs and work all the way back up. Your turn to try this superset. Isometric ball of foot crouch for this exercise. So much like a squat that's leaning forward on the ball of the foot, you want to make sure that your knees are bent so you've got ample pressure on your quadriceps, and just make sure you're holding a neutral spine. Let's maintain this position on the ball of the foot for the duration of the set. Your turn. Static curtsy for this exercise. So let's go into a curtsy lunge. You want to make sure it's nice and lengthy, and keep your elbows tucked in by your side and your hands pulling back into an isometric row so that the arms are active and your quadriceps and glutes are active as well. We're going to hold this static pose focusing on one of your outer glutes, and then we'll switch legs and focus on the other side as well. Your turn to try it. Front leg lunge with the suspension cables and alternate lunge with the weight plate for this exercise. We're going to do this set a little bit differently. So we're going to work the front leg lunge with the suspension cables, and then with the changeover, it's just a matter of switching legs and working the other leg. As far as the alternate lunges with the plate are concerned, we're going to keep the exercise going throughout both sets. So in other words, until you finish using both your legs, and then we're going to change apparatus after that. Make sure your back foot doesn't touch the floor as far as your front leg lunge is concerned, and just make sure you've got good lengthy sturdy lunges as far as your alternate lunge with the plate is concerned. Your turn to try this combination.
so bad I'm about to pass out. Wanna dig you, and I can't even lie about it, baby. Just alleviate your clothes, I'm the fly about it. Catch you at the club, your hips have got me feeling. Body talking quick to me, but I ain't comprehend the meaning. Now if you wanna roll with me, then here's your chance to an 80 on the freeway. Catch me if you can, forgive me, I'm a rider. Still I'm just a simple man, all I want is money plus the fame. I'm a simple man, Mr. International, player with a passport, just like a Latin switch. Get you anything you ask for, either him or me. The champagne and the sea, favorite of my homies when we floss on our enemies. This as we creep to a low speed, beat what my foes need. Make some emojis for you don't need. Approaching women with a passion, but a long day. But I've been driven by attraction, what's wrong with your body is banging, baby. I love the way you feel. Tell me, dig it today, sugar, and tell me how you want it. I was raised as a youth to the truth. I got the scoop on how to get a bulletproof. Sex busting off the roof, but when I was a teenager, mobile phone, sky page, and game roof and living major. My adversaries is getting worried. They paranoid of getting buried. One of us gon' see the cemetery. They wonder if my lifestyle's changed, and am I through with all the pain? I survived them in this game and still say I need to meet me at the strip club, bring a dog. Look how they suckin' for that cash. Let's get it on. I had no sympathy for those afraid of mystery. Come get with me, I promise passion and ecstasy. I'm alone, can I come over there tonight? Depend on me to win the hand to make me get it right. Your body is banging, baby. I love the way you flow. Time to get it today. Sugar, tell me how you want. Activate your hips and push your ass out. Got a brother wanting it so bad I'm about to pass out. Wanna dig you, and I can't even lie about it, baby. Just alleviate your clothes, I'm the fly about it. Catch you at the club, your hips have got me feeling. Body talking quick to me, but I ain't comprehend the meaning. Now if you wanna roll with me, then here's your chance to an 80 on the freeway. Catch me if you can, forgive me, I'm a rider. Still I'm just a simple man, all I want is money plus the fame. I'm a simple man, Mr. International, player with a passport, just like a Latin switch. Get you anything you ask for, either him or me. The champagne and the sea, favorite of my homies when we floss on our enemies.
This isometric exercise is a ball of foot squat, but you can see that my hands are pulling back into an isometric row. So it's an isometric squat on the ball of the foot and an isometric row at the same time. You can see that I've got the vertical shin bones happening, horizontal thigh bone, and then again vertical upper body. Let's try and hold this pose for the duration of the set. Working a split stretch for this one, and we're going to lean forward to try and really get into the adductors. So let's start with a moderate split. Make sure that your knees are soft straight, and then lean forward with a neutral spine and your arms nicely extended, and just try and hold that pose for the duration of the set. Your turn to have a go. For this superset, we're combining a suspended calves raise with squat and calves raise using the weight plate. So starting with your suspension cables, we're just going to throw our weight forward, making sure you're holding that straight line from your shoulder all the way to your ankle so that your core is nicely engaged. And then just good range of movement on these calves raises. So go all the way to the ball of your foot, pull as far up as you can, put a little pause in there, and then drop back down until your heel touches the ground. Working your squat calves raise on the other side, it's just a traditional squat, so make sure the spine remains nice and neutral, and then all it is once you get to the top of it, we're just going to add that calves raise. No rowing of the arms for this one, so you've got to make sure your legs do all the work. Your turn to try this combination.
Work, 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 work. It's in me heavy work, 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 work.
traditional isometric squat, probably the easiest isometric exercise you're going to do today, guys. So you can see that I'm basically sitting into what looks like an office chair. So vertical shin bone, horizontal thigh bone, and then vertical upper body, and just holding my suspension cables with straight arms. Hold this pose for the duration of the set. Your turn. Isometric lunge with your arms overhead for this exercise. So let's work our way into a nice lengthy lunge. Now your back knee should only be a couple of inches off the floor, and we're just going to try and sustain that position. Make sure you're using the straps to give you ample support, and just hold that position, engaging your front quadricep and your glutes on the opposite side for the duration of the set. At the end of this set, we're going to switch legs and do the other side as well. Your turn. Pistol rows with the suspension cables combined with a squat with knee strike with the weight plate. So starting with your pistol rows, we're going to work one side only for a set, and then as soon as your changeover happens, it's just a matter of switching legs and working the other side. Now just make sure that you're keeping a nice neutral spine and keep your shin bone vertical throughout this exercise. So drop all the way down and then assist with your arms to row and come all the way back up. Now doing your squats and knee strikes with your weight plate, make sure you're dropping all the way down, and then when you come up, you're throwing that knee strike to the side so that it's out of your way, so it doesn't tamper with your weight plate. This also engages your obliques, so it's a good overall legs and core exercise. Let's get you to have a go at this one.
Turn it up! Bitch better have my money. Pay me what you want it. Bitch better have my money. Pay me what you want it. Bitch better have my money. Pay me what you want it. Bitch better have my money. Bitch better have my money. I'm so Rihanna while the hoes are fucking wasted. Every time I drop by, it's the only thing I'm flagging. In a drop top to 100, y'all in my review mirror racing. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Turn it up.
For this isometric pose, I'm dropping into a squat and I'm holding the cables with a reverse grip triceps hand position. So this is going to really emphasize your triceps and your brachialis whilst you're working your quadriceps, holding onto that squat. Try to get into a nice square chair pose for this one and keep your elbows soft straight throughout the whole pose. Your turn to try it. Traditional isometric lunge for this exercise. So we're going to go back into a nice lengthy lunge. Make sure that you've got a vertical front shin bone and make sure your back knee is only just marginally off the floor. Now you can see I'm holding this one with straight arms so that there's no rowing action, and it's just a matter of holding this pose for the duration of the set. Once your set's finished, we're going to switch legs and do the other side as well. Your turn to try it. couple of glutes bridge variations for this particular exercise. So it's basically a suspended glutes bridge using your suspension cables and a weighted glutes bridge using your weight plate. The technique is pretty much the same. So you want to make sure you're lifting with your hips all the way up until you've got a straight line from your shoulder all the way to your knee, and then dropping back down until you're in your relaxed position. Now, using the suspension cables, try not to let your tailbone touch the floor, whereas when you're using the weight plate, it can touch the floor. A couple of different variations. They feel slightly differently, but they essentially work the same region. Your turn to try this combination.
Looking
Well done for getting through your workout today, guys. Let's take a moment to stretch and cool our body back down now. Comment and let us know what you thought of today's workout, and remember to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest workouts.